When we gather to worship, we shouldn't be coming to get. We should be coming to give. It should be costly. David said, I won't give anything that doesn't cost me something for God. It should be our best sacrifice of praise. Look at what Paul said in 1 Corinthians 14:26 from the Message. So here's what I want you to do. When you gather for worship, each one of you, be prepared to bring something that will be useful for all, for everyone. Sing a hymn, teach a lesson, tell a story, lead a prayer, provide an insight. All these must be done for the strengthening of the church. I'm talking about more than a good worship experience. I'm talking about contribution in worship. We talk a little bit about that when we give our tithes and offerings. That is a sacrifice for some of us. It's a contribution. It's something that we do. In other words, bring your best gift as a sacrifice of worship, giving who we are and what we have for God. These are called spiritual acts of worship. It's not about what we get, it's what we give. Let me illustrate with a few stories. Is that all right? Luke 21 tells a story of a poor widow who gave her last 2 mites, 2 copper coins worth less than a penny. Jesus was in the temple and he was watching all these people give their offerings and their tithes that day. He was watching these little rich people come by and they were making a big show of giving their money. They were wanting everybody to see. But he knew that it wasn't costing them anything. It was from their surplus. When he saw this poor little widow that only had 2 copper coins to her name come and drop those in, that impressed him so much. He included her story in the scripture for every generation to be able to learn about the widow with 2 coins. She gave what mattered most of all. She gave all she had. Without that, she didn't have any way of knowing that she would even be able to live and eat. She gave all she had. 2 Kings 4 tells about another widow who was drowning in debt, gotten down to all she had was a little bit of oil and a little bit of flour, and the prophet Elisha asked her for it. She was going to go home, take this little bit of oil and flour and make some bread, and it was going to be the last meal for her and her son, and then they would starve. But she gave it to Elisha sacrificially. You know what happened? God returned so much oil that she could not only feed her family, she could sell the extra and pay off her debt. She sacrificed what she thought would be left, what was most precious to her, and look what God did for her.